Black Desert, we're on Xbox One X, and we're showing off some tips and tricks in the game, just to kind of get you acquainted with the general movement and just the style of games so that you can ease into it a little bit, more simply, because it can be a little bit of an overwhelming game to understand. So first off, if you want to move automatically, you can just click in the left stick, and your character will follow the guideline. You can do the same on your horse. Jump on, click in the left stick, and your horse will follow the path. You can also open up the map, and you can click LT plus X and have your character or you on your horse move to that particular location. And pretty easy to understand. Your horse does have a certain stamina, so it won't actually run while it's low on the stamina, so I suggest keeping a few carrots with you, or the horse feed. I kind of running out of carrots, but you get the point of it, just keeping it on you so that you can feed your horse when they are sort of low and just really tired out. I find it's very helpful. So next element is sort of the hotkey. So you have a lot of hotkey options, and they're all at the bottom of the screen. And there's a lot going on with this. So to start, LT plus up will open up a wheel that will allow you to call your mount, find your mount, check out your pets, see the worker list, your main butler. It'll allow you to die, process, and find ship location. So we're going to show off dying first. So dying is where you can customize the look of your character, get some funky looking stuff. Now I don't know how limited this becomes in regards to post-launch, because I believe I have a special thing with the account I have. I have like 30 days with a special dyer. So you can see a bunch of different dyes, and I don't know how that's going to affect things, but yeah, you just kind of pick your colors, and then you go up to the top again, and you pick the next one, and change like the hilt, and I know it looks silly, but I really don't care. I'm just kind of having fun with it. But yeah, lots of different color options. You can do all kinds of weird things with it, and then you press Y to dye the weapon, and then it's dyed. Or the item, or the clothing, whatever you want, or the horse pieces. Dye it all. So we're going to go back to that LT plus up on the D-pad, and we're going to go to processing. So this is actually where you do the simple alchemy, which might be kind of difficult for people to find. I was having troubles, so yeah, and then you just pick the first one and you can combine the alchemy items, because there's a quest fairly early on where you're combining health potions. Well, I guess it's not too early, it's like level 20 or something like that. Anyways, and then you pull out a little station, you build it, and you just press select on this. But you get a lot of menu items here: repairing, heating things, filtering, kind of interactions in regards to processing the materials that you have collected and made in order to make new things, which I guess is kind of your like trades, as to say, within the game. Pretty easy to understand. Past that, there are a lot of other options too. So you can press LB to go into like a crouch position. If you want to kind of like blend into the environment, and I don't know if it's going to work at this particular spot, you go against something, and then you just kind of pull back or down on the left stick, and your character will go into sort of a leaning position or sit down on a bench. And this is just how you interact with the world in case you're doing like an eavesdropping situation, and then you just move from it afterwards if you want to be done with it. So continuing on with the ring motion, so you can press start and you can go to ring menu, and you can actually customize your menu. So I have this one as just a single object. So if you have it as just a single object, you can see I can just simply tap left on the D-pad, and I can use a health potion. Very easy. If you add multiples, you actually get a wheel that pops up. It's still fast, but I find it's a lot quicker just to kind of have the one option present for that, because you're healing yourself a lot of the time during the combative situations. So you go to the ring menu, and we actually have a lot of different ring options that we can kind of go through. You can actually see your skills, or see like a full easy access menu list if you don't understand how to access certain things like toggling chat. You can actually do that from here. I'll also show you the shortcut. You can also do your social actions here too, but you can equip them onto your general different sort of rings that pop up. So you can click configure. You can just add an item pressing A and putting it over there. There's also a bunch of different lists possible that you can tweak and edit, so you just keep tapping RT and you keep changing them. Again, you just press A on any object, and then you move it over there using the right stick in order to hotkey it over there. Super easy to use, super easy to understand. They kind of lay it out on the left hand menu, but I just want to talk about it because I know this can seem a little bit overwhelming. And then you can just access all the stuff from the bottom there. So you can click LT plus down on the D-pad to open up your quests really quickly. If you're ever wanting to find a particular quest or head in the direction of it, you just press A, and then it'll automatically direct you to that particular quest. LT plus left on the D-pad will bring up the chat icon kind of options. So you can just voice chat, your friends, stuff like that. You can also do, so yeah, and then you can go to toggle chat, and you can turn the chat off, which is really annoying to, I know, a lot of people. So that's a good little hint for you there. Pretty cool, right? Easy going on that. And then again, you can see the kind of just regular D-padding options, and it's best just to test things out. You can bring up your little demon guy by clicking just down. He's a lot of kind of quests, and he'll give you these special quests occasionally, just like a gift reward, and that's how you expand your inventory so you get more slots, and he does that all the time. So it's good to just be talking to him whenever you can in the game, because he's got lots of stuff for you. The second tab over in your inventory is your pearl inventory, and those are like premium items that you can buy. They're also where you find your XP scrolls if you've been given them. I'll also mention that you can go into your profile and then tab over a couple times, and you'll get rewards for hitting certain levels. I don't have any left right now because I got them, but level 10, 20, every day there's a login reward, and it's good to get those points when you can, right? I mean, you might as well get the extras that they grant to you in the game, which I think is pretty, I don't know, pretty nice of them to do. You can sell anything you want at any vendor that's like a selling, like a shop vendor. You just go over to sell, you just tab over, and then you can pick things. It won't show items that are equipped, so feel free to sell any objects that are available in here. So there's special items in the game that you can purchase. You have to find like particular people for them, and these are things like the hose or the pickaxes, and then you're actually able to actively go into the environment and collect resources for certain tasks or for selling. Just like a fishing rod, you can buy it for fishing at really any dock. You just go up to the person that's like, you know, just kind of selling things, and you sell it to them. Or, well, you buy the fishing rods, or you don't sell it to them. From there, to exchange gold bars, which are something you get all the time, you go to a store manager, and you can trade in the gold bars, which I don't think I have any left. No, I do not. But yeah, very easy to sell stuff. The Antanas Firefly. Sometimes during certain periods of the day it'll turn dark. It's like nighttime in the game. You can use that in order to make it easier, because the mobs get a little bit more hardcore, kind of like in Dead Rising, where the zombies get all intense and red-eyed and more difficult. You get more XP when it's like that, but you know, it is harder to kind of deal with. Generally, moving through large town hubs are where you're going to find all of your essential kind of selling places or your buying purchase points. So these are like the big cities like Califia, and I believe one of the early cities is Heidel. That's kind of a main point. They sometimes do firework displays there. It's sort of really cool. In the world map, you can zoom in and out, well, LT plus RS, because you see that in the right hand side there, but you can actually get really close and you can see all kinds of different icons, and then you can press Y and then you can use the D-pad and you can see different information such as territories, groundwater, temperature. You can go to humidity, stuff like that, node war information, because there's like guild wars going on, some production node, monster zones, if you want to find like certain monsters and know the leveling for those monster areas. And then there's general knowledge areas too, because you can like chat with people and you get new knowledge concepts and information at any point in the game. So we're going to jump on the horse because we want to go talk about some combat. So we're going to easily go over to the quest, and we're going to head over there to the Voice of the Commoners. And our character is just going to easily move along and head over to that location, because we're going to be talking about combat. So while you're moving, you can't do certain activities or certain things, so that can be annoying for some. Then you just have to stop moving, and then you're able to once again do so. The central market is kind of a place where you go and sell things, so you know, that's a good kind of thing to know. Be sure to be constantly checking your skills in the game. So the skills tab is where you're able to jump in and pick from a series of new skills. We're going to stop and we're just going to do that right now. So these skills will continue to make you a little bit more powerful and kind of improve your general abilities. There's a lot of options, and then you can go to RB and you can see the skills you have and these sort of button maneuvers that sort of unleash these combos and abilities to you. You can even get a demo by pressing X to see kind of what it does, the effect of it and stuff like that, and you can rotate the camera and everything like that too. So I definitely suggest basically enhancing your weapon constantly whenever you can. So you notice how it has a plus 11 on it. So what I do is we get these special crystals occasionally for doing certain tasks or for completing quests, and you click A on it, and it brings up this sort of enchantment menu, and then you're able to take your sword out, place it in the slot, add the crystal, and then you can X, and you can click X for a quick enhancement, and that will increase the sort of power. Usually you fail a lot more than that. I got really lucky. And that basically makes your weapon more powerful and more deadlier, and it makes a huge difference because you can cut some enemies basically like, you know, like they're butter. It's really helpful, and it makes I think a fairly big difference in regards to combat. So keep your skills up, keep your weapon enhanced, because that's going to make a huge difference no matter what class you are. It's really helpful. Another thing I suggest doing is getting used to your class's particular style. I mean, with my sword, I'm going to be a little bit more close range, but if you are using something like a bow or staff, keep your distance because you're less likely to take damage. And here's another element of combat. I personally kind of am tough, and I just keep dabbing those health potions over and over again. I definitely suggest keeping a ton of health potions on hand. They're very cheap. They're very easy to access. You get them all over the place from different merchants. So I suggest having a lot of them and just kind of like pile them on when you need to. But other than that, I stand still and I just kind of fight. You know, I don't move around a lot just because I can hit those blows and I can just be like a tank. But don't be afraid to move around. Some of the larger creatures and the bosses you have to deal with, you can just kind of shift around them a little bit. They're not very fast. They're very slow. They're posed to kind of sit in one spot. And you can get more damage attacking from the back. So you can actually do critical blows while they're just kind of standing there, which is very helpful against the bosses because the bosses can take a ton of damage because you don't really know how much health they have or how deadly they are. And some of them can be really intense to deal with. When it comes to boss fights, you actually get a scroll in your inventory and you get sent to a certain spot. So if you're having a problem understanding what you have to do with the bosses, you just go into your inventory, you find what the scroll is, you place it down, and you summon the creature. And if you lost the scroll, like you died or anything like that, just forfeit the quest, go back into your little creepy guy, and he'll give you the quest again, and you'll get a new scroll in order to be able to take on that challenge. Because it can kind of be puzzling in regards to things. And don't be afraid to forfeit quests if you're having problems or anything glitches, because you can just grab it back again and, you know, carry on. Not a huge deal. So yeah, we're generally moving along here. We're just auto running to the spots, so you can kind of see how that works. Sometimes they get caught on rocks. Most of the time you can kind of just have your characters run and you can go to the bathroom and come back. But yeah, generally it works quite well and is very efficient. You can do it while you're swimming. You can do it on rocks. You can do it across landforms. It really works kind of anywhere. I personally suggest when you have a mount to leave your mount in an area where either there's a lot of other mounts or where you were given a quest where you need to go and fight things. Typically you get a quest to go and fight things in close proximity to a chat marker. So there'll be like a camp or a settlement or somewhere that's safe that you can leave your horse. Because as soon as you got like go kill X amount of enemies, park your horse there, run over to the spot with the auto run, and just get to work. Because if you leave your horse in the area, they're likely to get damaged and hurt. But be careful not to leave your horse too far behind, otherwise you're like way on the other side of the continent and you gotta run back and grab your horse, which is a huge pain. So sometimes your map auto trail isn't the fastest way to get there. Like I could have turned left and got to that location a lot faster. So don't be afraid to jump in and intervene when you're auto running, because you can move yourself too, you know, don't be entirely lazy. This is mostly just for people that want a casual thing. Like I said, I get some like article work done while I'm on the auto running, obviously not while I'm talking at this point, but you get the sense of it in regards to basically using it and then tweaking yourself when you need to in order to get to special spots. When you hit level 50, that's when PvP can kick in by your choice. You use this special stone that I have. It's a clear memory piece, and just some general details of it. It's a good time to actually do this because I can show that off. And then you have to hit a certain condition in order for it to be used. This is a horse emblem, so in order to get your mounts, in case you're not at that point when you're watching this, you can actually buy these, or you're given them really early on. There's like quests for it. You go to a stable, you cash it in, you're able to give your character a name. No spaces in the names, which is a little bit disappointing, but yeah, you can have all kinds of weird things if you'd like, name-wise, which is kind of cool. Very easy to understand. So we're almost in the area. I'm going to steer my horse off. Maybe put it back a bit on this bridge, because that's usually a safe spot. Because these creatures really are kind of asses, and they attack your horse. Yeah. Is that a bad character? Nah. Okay, cool. So trying to find a tree so I can show off the, yeah, there we go. So sometimes when you move near objects like stones or trees, you're actually able to gather it. So you need to have the particularly right item. So you might have it owned, but you might not have it in the slot. So if I'm mining rock, I need to put in my pickaxe. If I'm doing lumber, I need to have the lumber. So you notice your character does it over 10 seconds. Sometimes when I'm waiting for certain things during combat, I'll just, you know, do like a tree or something like that just to collect some of the minerals, the materials that I can get from it. You will notice that in the top left that your sort of strength goes down, so just be wary of that. So your horse parks and they automatically kind of like calm down. Enemies are marked with quest objective. I find it's best to sort of pick off an enemy one by one. Sometimes you'll get overwhelmed and there'll be like literally up to 10 guys attacking you at once, which can be a huge pain and very hard to coordinate. So if you are just having like one particular enemy that you need to kill at a time, focus on them and get the job done. And the best you can do, kind of move around and get to the back of your enemies. Move up and change your abilities, but most of the time I can just tap RB and I kind of just like grind through everyone. It's not a big deal. But like I said, the more you get attacking you at once, the more deadlier it'll be. So you really have to monitor your health in the top left there. Otherwise, you're going to die. These guys are a little bit easier. But yes, pick your enemies, spread them out, and attack them as you can. Those back shots are powerful. You can even run in there, kind of get like a little bit of a bonus. It says back attack when you're hitting things with a little bit more of a deadly move. Try to mix things up. I have a good ability where I can kind of grapple people, or I can kick them and knock them down. When they're knocked down, they're in a bit of a stun phase, so it's a little bit easier to eliminate your opponent. Note that if you spam something too much, you'll have a stamina run out, so it's best to keep switching things up while you can as you learn your abilities and get more efficient at combat. And again, each kind of class is a little bit specialized in their own way of combat, so, you know, choose how you go with it. When you do get these larger blank quests in terms of like you have to kill 55 or something, don't feel like you have to take out the biggest guys. Honestly, aim for the little ones, because you're probably going to get a quest that follows up with it where it's like, oh, hey, now you got to kill 5 of these big guys, 3 of these medium guys. So just take it easy, kill the simple guys, don't get yourself too caught up on having to kill like the biggest, baddest characters there. In the scheme of things, the XP all just kind of like adds up after you grind so many, because I mean I got to kill like 55 of these things, and it's just kind of like, you know. But you see the benefit of having just a single item tabbed in the bottom left there, because I'm just easily able to click left on my D-pad, and I'm able to pull up, just use my health potion. There is a little bit of a timer on it, and just so you know, the beginner health potions are only available to a certain level, and once you hit that point, they're basically useless, and you have to just throw them out, or otherwise they're completely and utterly useless, which is disappointing, but that's kind of how it goes. Oh, I should also mention, if you are pre-ordering the game, or you have some sort of bonus, that you need to actually go to the mail section in order to activate them, and in order to gather them. So we're going to do that as soon as we finish off these guys here. So I can showcase that off. This one last guy. See, I'm mixing up my combat. Knocking him down for an easier attacking position. Cool. So you go over to the mail option, which I am totally losing right here. And that's where you're able to get your special items. You can press A to receive each of them individually, press Y to delete, or you press X to receive all, but some of it may go into storage, so something to be noted. So another aspect of combat that I think is very important is that when you start fighting an enemy, you're actually not going to know how much health it has. So you see, these guys are new to me, so I don't know how powerful they are. As you kill more of them, you'll actually level up for each species and each subspecies. So like archers, or, well, I mean, like, these are root and warriors. So we got like 3 different types of them there. We got warrior, we got soldier, we got wizard. So I have to kill each of the individual character types, like class types, subspecies types, or whatever, in order to get the knowledge of how easy they are to kill, or their health and everything like that. So their health will show up eventually, and you'll actually be able to kill them easier as you continue to mulch through them. The shame is, once you kind of finish off all the quests in the area, that's when they start getting easier, so it doesn't really help you too much in that regard. You can also always see your character's health above your head. So that's something to note if you are trying to monitor your health and you don't want to have to look at the top left of the screen, which I really don't think is a big deal. If you're having issues trying to find out what the next quest is, just reach out to people that usually have a quest, or you press RB after you finish a quest just to get their next quest. Because I know sometimes I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing? Where am I supposed to be going? And that is just like a helpful way in order to make sure you're getting all the quests from certain people before moving on and going somewhere else. So I hope this has been helpful for tips and tricks. I mean, I kind of covered everything I think might be useful in terms of like the automation process, dealing with things, health potions, combative segments. But if you do have any additional questions, let me know and I'll try to help out. I don't think the game's too difficult, but a lot of it can be perhaps a little overwhelming if you're new to it, because I know a lot of the things I had a lot of problems understanding them initially, like I didn't know how to do the alchemy and stuff like that. But feel comfortable to go and chat with people, because they are actually, most people seem very helpful in regards to finding things out, at least in the early access phase they have been. So that's Black Desert on Xbox One. Pretty cool. I'm having a good time with it, and yeah, a lot to do in this one, a lot of things to do. And I hope this has been helpful in regards to generally understanding a lot of the elements of the game and working through it.